Jim Romer, May 11th through the 13th. Welcome to both Weather Watch and Climate Intelligence, the only all-weather global commodity newsletters that focus in on commodities and give trading strategies as well. And for limited time right now, if you email us at the bottom of the page, we will give you our monthly newsletter for free for a year. Normally a $300 a year subscription, gives interesting charts and long-range weather forecasts. Of course, our twice-a-week service, Weather Wealth, is much more detailed, gives a lot of trading strategies, weather forecast updates, options, and ETF recommendations. But again, we are also offering right now our monthly newsletter, Climate Intelligence, for free. You will save $300. Right now, the commodity markets have been exploding, as I just pointed out. The CRB index at a 10-year trend line right now is also hurting the stock market, at least early on this week, as there are inflation fears. Not only are we seeing spikes in precious metals and also trace metals that are used in electric cars and for the global green new economy, but of course we have very, very tight grain stocks. Look at that off to your right. That is the overall grain situation, the tightest in many, many years. In combination of Chinese demand and also weather problems last summer in Iowa, and then of course La Nina and lower production for crops in both Argentina and Brazil. Speaking of Brazil, we have seen a bull market return not only to the grain markets, but to sugar and also coffee. We've been right on top of this again in our newsletter. This is, as of a couple days ago, the chart to your right is the Brazilian real approaching resistance. If that continues to rally and breaks through there, that could be bullish sugar prices. Look to the left, sugar prices have rallied about 10 to 15% over the last month or so, not only because of the rallying Brazil real, but also this devastating drought that we have seen for clients for weeks in South America. What are the climatic variables that are affecting the big drought? I'm getting my head out of the way there in South America. Well, both La Nina and also deforestation. Notice how Brazil, the biggest producer of sugar in the world, about 78 to 80% of the crop there is just near my arm, is produced in Sao Paulo and Paraná. And that area is suffering from a devastating drought. Look at this, rainfall the next 2 weeks in that dark red area you see there, dark brown, dark red. The whole region, the biggest producer of coffee and sugar in the world. And we've been on top of these recommendations for our clients in soft commodities with both ETF strategies as well as options and futures. Go to my website, bestweatherinc.com. Get a 2-week free trial period if you have not had one already. That will give a lot of trade recommendations, again, as I mentioned, and all sorts of updated forecasts before other people typically react. What else are we watching? Corn and wheat prices on Monday collapsed because look at this. Some of the drought areas in the northern plains, here's where the drought is in the red and brown you see from Colorado up across Texas into the northern plains where spring wheat planting and corn planting and emergence has been affected by cool weather and drought. Notice how though the maps turn wetter in green in that drought-stricken area for next week and the week after. A main reason why corn and wheat prices collapsed on Monday. We actually told our clients Sunday evening there may be a short-term shorting opportunity in new crop corn and wheat because of the improved weather across the Corn Belt. But the old crop, the July contracts, are staying very, very strong. The reason for that is because of old crop demand from China and as well just overall inflation fears. Is the wheat market going to be topping out? Global droughts typically allow prices to go over $8 as they did about back in 2010 and also prior to that back in the 1970s and 80s several times. You have to stay tuned, subscribe to our newsletter. We have inflationary fears right now with all this pent-up demand post-COVID-19 to buy grains and many, many commodities. But weather will be a key factor over the next few months and is affecting everything, as I mentioned, from sugar to coffee and grains. Look at this coffee crop. Look at the little blotches on those coffee beans there. We've been on top of this. We've seen coffee prices rally about 20% the last 2 months. Is it going to stay dry? Will there be a free scare in Brazil? Again, we recommend you subscribe to our Weather Wealth newsletter. We'll give you all this great information. But once again, for free, a more generic monthly newsletter, as I mentioned, Climate Intelligence, email us at the bottom of the page. And if you do, we'll give you a 300-hour value for free. Can't beat that. And we'll educate you about how weather affects global commodities. Anyway, have a very nice week, very exciting times in many markets around the world, but right now has been affecting the stock market in a negative way because of inflation fears. Thank you.